So anyhow, so I'm here, and I'll try to be quick because I'm cognizant of time. I'm here actually to kind of mix it up a little bit and look at actually some of the community programs that are part of the Richmond City initiative and our approach to breastfeeding. And I'm here to talk to you about a specific breastfeeding model that I have been really honored to be part of. I am a sociologist and a researcher and faculty member at VCU, and I do community-based participatory research, and my area of focus is around maternal health. I spoke very briefly yesterday in a Q&A about postpartum depression. So most of my work had been done around postpartum depression, but we had a secondary initiative of breastfeeding, so I've done a good amount of work there. And so I want to kind of highlight, now I hit the red? The white.
Just tell them next slide.
There we go. About this best practice model called Mommies, Babies, or Mommies, Bellies, Babies, and Daddies, the ABCs of breastfeeding model. And I really will not do this service, I don't think, because actually the authors and developers of the model are here in the audience, Renata Lewis and Alice Freeman. So I'm nervous speaking about their model in front of everybody. But this is a really pure, community-based, grassroots, culturally tailored, sensitive initiative that takes a holistic approach to maternal health and breastfeeding in general. The vision statement of Healthy Hearts Plus 2, the ABCs program, is to inform, encourage, and empower mothers to become caretakers of the self from inside out. It's about incorporating mind, body, and spirit. The Mommy, Bellies, Babies, and Daddies program, the ABCs, I'll call it from now on because it's a mouthful, was created with a number of explicit goals to inform new mothers about the importance of breastfeeding, the importance of nutrition during and after pregnancy. We spoke a lot about nutrition yesterday, and we all know that breastfeeding is the best foundation for nutritious, sound children, but moms who are breastfeeding also need to be really cognizant of nutrition. And so this model focuses on kind of nutritional value for moms themselves. Really kind of at the core of our goals was combating the infant mortality rate in minority communities. The model, like I said, was developed by Healthy Hearts Plus 2. It has received a good amount of funding from the Kellogg Foundation since 2010 that has allowed us to do this really amazing work. And my articulation with the program is as a community-based academic researcher to do a CBPR evaluation so that we can move this into an evidence-based best practice model. And by incorporating CBPR, we're incorporating the university community and the community at large. So what we'll be doing is we'll actually be working with moms who have gone through the program and train them to be actually academic clinical researchers, to actually go out and facilitate focus groups, do the survey data analysis, and actually work in the data analysis. So in a lot of ways, we're also, hopefully kind of be developing kind of a job pipeline for some of these women in these isolated areas. A little bit back to the program. The model itself is based on a sister circle or a peer circle where young mothers can come and discuss not just their pregnancy needs, but also their personal challenges. It's designed to educate and empower moms about the ABCs of breastfeeding. And so kind of, I'm actually at the wrong slide. I'm so nervous. And so it's based on this notion of ABCs, where moms are taught to appreciate themselves, bond with the baby, and become a better caretaker of the self and the baby. And I need to just share with you one kind of really quick story, is when I was brought into the partnership through Rochelle Charles and the Institute for Women's Health, and I met Alice and Rochelle, one of the things that just struck me as I walked into this neighborhood resource center located right in the community where moms come to engage in breastfeeding peer-to-peer support. And I walked into this sacred room, actually. There were rockers and there were pillows. It was a far cry from the neighborhoods that these young girls, and these are young girls, the women that we serve are by and large teen moms. And you walked into the room and there was a full-length mirror cure. And I get chills when I think about it because I knew exactly what this was about. This was about letting these moms look at themselves, appreciate who they were, and to kind of heal. Because these moms have been through trauma. Their communities have been through trauma. And that this was really integral to successful breastfeeding. And we talked yesterday about the mental health component. This is also the first part in kind of combating not just postpartum depression, but all depression for these moms. And so it's this notion that it's a holistic approach. Appreciate yourself, take care of yourself, so then you can take care of that belly, which will be that baby. And finally, the model incorporates daddies. And this is a really important element that we spoke about. We really need partner support for successful breastfeeding. And these girls, their dads want to be involved in these babies' lives. We also don't give them a space to do it. And so the ABC model actually allows that to occur. It comes to the community, provides this space, and actually gives these families a chance to grow and develop, which in turn leads to community growth and development. And so now I'm off. No, I'm not. There we go. And, you know, I teach like 250 students a week, and you would think I'd be okay with this, but apparently not. So I talked a little bit about the goals. The goals of the program are, of course, to inform new moms about the importance of breastfeeding and nutrition during their pregnancy, to combat infant mortality as part of the Mayor's initiative, so it links directly to that. And the ABC's model was the model that essentially kind of was a big integral part of the Mayor's Commission in Richmond City. So there are a number of different steps that we kind of use within the program, and the first is nutritional education and empowerment. And then we have practical training for the moms in the community, in the resource centers, on training and or training for breastfeeding by experts. And then we support each other. And so again, we know that peer support models work, community-based models work, and this is essentially what we do in the ABCs. And the formation of sister circles allows caretakers to mentor mothers-to-be on the ABCs of breastfeeding and actually maternal health and parenting more general. So there's a parenting component to the ABCs model as well. We provide a number of different components within the ABCs. So there are workshops. We have mommy self-care, we have basic nutrition, breastfeeding demos, and exercise. We do peer-to-peer mentoring, sister circles, and we actually, in the model and in the program, have free doula services that are provided to these moms. And so a lot of these moms, they don't have anybody to support them through the pregnancy and the birth and postpartum. So having a doula has been really integral. We have an educational speaker series about issues that the girls themselves define as being important. So again, it's very grassroots and very empowering. So they talk about domestic violence, housing, economic development, jobs. We provide each and every participant with a mommy support bag, and this is done in a way that really essentially assures that these moms leave with dignity. So it's not handouts. They're kind of discreetly placed in the back, and women can take what they need when they need without any kind of attention. So again, this, empowerment. Each peer sister circle rotates around or kind of is centered around food and nutrition. So nutrition is a huge part of what we do. But food and sharing of food is community. Our breast milk is food. It builds community. And that's a message that resonates kind of throughout. And then we provide free transportation. Now, we also have locations actually in the courts, is what we call them in Richmond City, but in the housing development projects. So we're actually kind of bringing the services to the women and families right in the courts. And one of the coolest things, if those of you who know about kind of housing development projects, sometimes there's a lot of territorialism going going around from one court to another court to another court. And because our program is located in the court, we see moms coming, say, from Gilpin Court and Wickham Court to Mosby Court, where traditionally there's been a lot of gang violence between those factions. And these women walk together, pushing their babies into this sacred space. And so not only are we building a generation of good moms and breastfeeding moms, we're starting to heal community and build community. And so that's one of the core things, that it takes a village to make a village. Here's just some photos, actually, with a mom and her dad and the baby. This is a shot of one of the sister circles. But the notion of it takes a community means that our breastfeeding work doesn't just stop with moms. We open up our circles to grandparents and aunts and children. We know within our community, fictive kin can be really important, so they come and can be part of the community. Because again, it takes a village. We do intergenerational programming and a number of other things, because it's really based on this notion that breastfeeding policy is community health policy. It's economic policy, it's housing policy, it's education policy, and it's employment policy. I'm just going to end with one really quick quip about one of the locations that Healthy Hearts Plus 2 is located in the Mosby community. And so we have girls who are coming to breastfeed their baby in the middle of this somewhat chaotic neighborhood, in this very space, kind of sacred space where we share food, we create community, but then the girls themselves can be linked to economic or employment counselors. They can be linked back to services to help them get their GED, or actually complete their high school diploma. And we know that that's actually a better certification to have. But their partners come. And those dads, I mean, they're boys, and they don't know how to be part of their babies' lives. And it gives them an opportunity to support their babies, their partners, and the nutrition of their babies. But then it links them to these services. So I can't stress enough. I'm like so overjoyed to be speaking to you about this, and I'm not, giving it enough kind of credibility that it deserves. But I really want all of you who do the policy making around maternal health and breastfeeding policy, who give us the funds that allow us to do the things that we do. And again, a special shout out to the Kellogg Foundation. Actually, the city received a NACHO grant, and the Healthy Hearts Plus 2 model is the model that is part of that NACHO grant. But that when we go back to our home agencies and our home entities and we talk about breastfeeding, we talk about it holistically. I'm a community activist at heart. I was a former social worker. You can't take the social work practice out of the social worker, and it is that notion that it needs to be holistic. And I think that Healthy Hearts Plus and the city of Richmond have really tapped into something by bringing these partners, government, university, community organizations, and community to be part of the conversation about breastfeeding. So thanks.
So unfortunately, we've run through most of our discussion time. I'm going to ask for one very thoughtful question from someone. Anybody got a burning question? All right, Casey.
I don't know how thoughtful it is. I'm Casey Rosencarroll, Rochester. What an amazing program, and I think you did it. I haven't seen it, but it seems like you did it service. It's just beautiful. It's so inspiring. I'm wondering how much it costs. Like, what does a center like that? Who do you pay? How much is the output for what you're then studying?
I'm gonna actually, if it's okay, defer to Alice and Renata who do.
I'm gonna say our NACHO grant that we got is about $25,000 a year. Sorry, I didn't do the right thing. It's about $25,000 a year. that probably doesn't cover a percentage of the time that Alice, and because it's food and it's not fried chicken and ham and cold cuts, it's real food. It's kiwi and grapes and wraps and healthy foods. Some of these girls have never tried a kiwi before or Asian pear, and Alice has introduced them to new things, and they walk away with a food package of what they've had for dinner that night and for that day. So it's really good. So that's part of our contribution that we contribute, but it's a lot more time, energy, and effort put into this than just that small amount.
And I'd also just like to add, I think that it goes back to the message of leveraging your resources. It goes back to, we know we need funding. So when you look at a model, when I first became involved in the knowledgeable of the project, I thought, how are you doing this on a shoestring budget? But as a public health professional, I also know from a community perspective, people do it all the time. You identify where your resources are in your community. So if you have a food bank, partnering with your food bank to get foods, so you're not adding that to your budget. If you have the doula pieces, we have a school of nursing, we also have doulas in the community. They are interested in serving this unique population, getting them to partner and provide their services for free or at a discounted rate. Going to your business entities for the supplies, for your breast pads, for your program materials pieces, getting them to provide those pieces versus asking them to pay a salaried person. It's really thinking outside of the box from a programmatic perspective, and I must admit that they, not only Healthy Hearts Plus, but Richmond City, they've really done a really good job about that, and which is one of the reasons why the VCU Institute for Women's Health can be a part of this, because then we're contributing our resources. So, you know, my salary and all of the faculty that are involved in the project, you know, we're not getting paid off of the grants that are coming in, but we are providing those critical skill sets that's going to move this along from the community setting and making it a best practice. So it's hard to put a dollar figure when we've been doing it collaboratively. It's not a one budget, you know, $300,000 program. It really is each organization coming in and contributing their resource, and then again looking for areas of intersection. So maybe for a nonprofit, particularly because from a financial standpoint, maybe you can't give dollars, but you can connect your partners to the program and those resources. So something else.
So we all need to work in order to maximize what we've got available to us.